Christ Sophia Part 2. Oh, yeah. Oh, fuck yeah. And it gets worse.
Before I get into this, I'd like to take a moment to add some clarification around the last video, an ode to Emma Watson. In this video, I opened up about some personal experiences that I'd had over the last few years that really affected me. Now, I acknowledge, along with so many of you in the comments, that, yeah, okay, it's a little weird. I'm doing my best to understand it myself. But let me explain just a little bit more, since, I mean, all of us have had experiences that sometimes are hard to explain, right? A lot of people commented saying that I was just putting Emma Watson on a pedestal. And
I love that he picked this picture of Emma Watson.
I recorded what I did without taking the time I should have to fully and properly explain. I made the statement that Emma is the Christ Sophia, and didn't elaborate on the fact that Christ energy, whether masculine or feminine, is a consciousness, rather than a specific embodiment in one person. My expression that Emma is the Christ Sophia was to honor the light within her that shines so bright and so pure. But if each...
How? You don't even know the woman! What are you talking about? She's just good looking! What are you... What?
So, what is Christ Sophia? Sophia is a Greek word meaning wisdom, and was often seen as the feminine counterpart to Jesus. It's when the feminine and masculine principles within each of us merge into the greater whole. And thus, when the two came together in their holy pairing, the Christ Sophia was the embodiment of Christ consciousness in a human. On a practical level, this means to practice walking the middle path, to flow and explore different perspectives and lifestyles, but not attached to any particular side.
He really likes to say words. What does that even mean? Be a radical centrist in all things. Except in regards to your skepticism about my religious mumbo-jumbo, definitely just jump all on board on that. It's fucking stupid. This guy's gonna murder Emma Watson, isn't he? I hope not. She's a true triple threat.
Truly, this is what I see Emma Watson doing. She's creating unification in the world through her work. She is an incredible role model, and each of us have that same opportunity to choose the path of light, and it begins with choosing to listen to others in their pain instead of judging them. Mostly by seeing how these energies have played out in my own life, and then using that template as an inspiration for how each of us have our part to heal in this collective journey. Part of the journey was a revisit to my past, and some big life events that happened many years ago.
I don't know what he's about to say. I have no idea what he's about to say. I just know it gets worse. That's what I've been told. It gets worse.
Several years ago, I was publicly accused of raping an ex-girlfriend of mine online.
I didn't know. Oh boy!
And while the accusations have subsided, there's been an emotional thorn in my side for a long time about the entire event. There have even been occasional flares of upset around it, especially when I see vicious comments that I receive occasionally accusing me of being a rapist. During my recent trip to Rhythmia, I received deep healing around this entire thing, and even greater understanding, since I know now that so many people have most likely lived similar relational dynamics to me. Perhaps through this story, it may help others to find healing through the sharing and exploring of what happened.
I need an adult! Sarah! Sarah, come make sure I'm okay.
As I lived it, it was a very difficult time. I had been focused on creating a sexual union between us with the impression that it would be creating connection and healing for both of us at the time.
A sexual union? What are you talking about?
My partner was not so interested in this, but still she consented. I was only 20 at the time, and upon reflecting with the plant medicine, I was able to see that the reason that this situation happened between us at all was because I was playing out a masculine wound. Throughout this ayahuasca ceremony, I was then taken even back further in time and watched a series of events that transformed my life and changed me into a boy who couldn't feel. It began with the death of my father. His suicide shortly after my conception sowed a seed of abandonment, rejection, and fear into me before I was even born.
My dead dad made me a raper. It's pretty... I don't know how the A to B works on that argument.
Being born into a world without a father, I had to come to understand my masculine and sexual energies without proper guidance. I have since come to realize this as an issue that so many struggle with. For me, my example of masculinity came from men and boys who were caught up in their mind, so fast to criticize everything, needing to be right in every situation with no openness to growth, and all of this resulting from having very poor relationships with their inner feminine. In junior high, along with tremendous abuse and bullying by my peers, I was taught the typical narrative for young men. You were a worthless piece of shit.
Wow!
I was subconsciously influenced by the media as well, that women were sex objects. At no point in my life did I receive any education or guidance that said sex was a sacred connection between two souls. In fact, I was shamed from feeling I could ask anyone anything at all.
Are you making an excuse? A series of excuses?
This is something most boys face.
What? I don't think most boys are rapers. What?
And the result of this created a boy whose lack of connection with his father compelled him to try and fill that void with sex to feel empowered, all the while feeling like a worthless piece of shit.
This is a ride. We have gone on a ride.
It was this energy within me, this twisted, quiet desperation, that was at the root of why I was eventually called a rapist. While my partner at the time had consented, deep down she did not want to. She told me later that there was a part of her that wanted to give me what I wanted because she loved me and cared for me. But in her heart, she knew it was not right. To my ex-partner, I deeply apologize for my own insensitivity. I am sorry I was not able to comprehend that it was not right for us to be together at the time. Am I a rapist? By the conventional standard definition, I didn't force her down or anything of the sort.
Jesus.
But she said that she felt raped, and I feel like it's important that I honor her feelings. In fact, this is the reason I gave her a confession in the first place when she asked for it, which led to the story getting out online. I've actually publicly stated that I was a rapist before, thinking it was the right thing to do, and then
hello, police, this man right here.
Regardless of how you may feel about me, and despite my mistakes, the broken child who got into that mess in the first place is not who I am.
Why are you couching the 20-year-old rapist as a child whose daddy left?
After this relationship, I had the opportunity to live on the other side of the spectrum, in a relationship with a man who now I can see it was not right for me to be with. I said yes so many times and experienced so much pain because of it. During that time, I was too afraid to leave the relationship because of threats of suicide that would come up when the conversation of a breakup arose.
Now he's justifying the bad he did before with a relationship he had after, and he's like, I also had bad did to me. I got the bad did. And what? No! You don't get to get the bad did. You did the bad already. You don't get to undo the bad you did with the bad did. God damn it.
There is a pervading belief in the world, throughout many cultures and ideologies, of a heavenly father and earthly mother, and where we are the children between the two. While there are many aspects and roots of toxic masculine and toxic feminine energies, it makes women feel as though they have no place in the eyes of God, and so they are compelled to become the seductress.
So now he's blaming women?
Now, bringing this conversation to a close, Let us explore how we can heal the toxic masculine and the toxic feminine within us.
Why is he like, hey, you know, here's how I'm justifying the raperness. Step 1, dad suicide. Step 2, rape girl. Step 3, question mark. Step 4, sexy Emma time.
For too long, we have bottled up our emotions and reserved ourselves to silence because we have been inflicted with shame for having feelings and not appearing as the image of manliness that pervades throughout society and the media. For men healing the toxic feminine, we must resist the seductress temptation. These were the lessons that were revealed to me on this particular journey with the sacred plant medicine ayahuasca. And while I know that there is always more for us to learn and embody, may this wisdom guide us forward as we continue into the light. If you are curious about ayahuasca and want to learn more, please watch my recent film, Are Miracles Real?
No thanks, raper!